walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. This is a podcast about mental health and wellness and everything related. You know, there's a big umbrella with the mental health and wellness. So today we're going to get right into it. Today is a bonus episode. But before we get into a little housekeeping, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment on this video. It would be great. Definitely share with at least 2 of your best friends. And okay, my guest just stepped out for a moment. She'll come back. But while we're waiting her to come back into the waiting room, make sure and let me know how the audio podcast is as well. I'm on all streaming platforms. Just make sure and search Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. And it's on all streaming platforms. So while I wait on my guest to come back in, today we are going to discuss procrastination. If you're triggered by procrastination, please put a 1 in a comment section. I want to hear. And if you don't, put in a 1 in the box for me, because I suffer from, I shouldn't say suffer. I experience procrastination at times, more often than not. But what I've learned is, we already got a 1. Let's see. Derek, I see about 5 ones on there. Can you put about 10 ones for me? Pretty please. But what I've learned about procrastination is it's all a mindset as well. And it's a lot more intricate than I knew. And there's a whole psychology behind it. And it's the language we use. Derek, the shade is real. Derek has about, let me fix 1, 2, 3, 18, 20 ones on there with the crying emoji. Yeah, that's how it feels. So I've learned that there are different types of procrastination, more than I knew. And I related to a lot of it. But what I learned is the language that we use with procrastination. I've had a habit for years, decades. Oh, yeah, I'm a procrastinator. I'm a procrastinator. So when we say anything I am, it is an affirmation. So we're declaring already that we're a procrastinator. So we just become one. We just lie on the tracks and we just, okay, I'm a procrastinator. And then we fall into that victim mode. And, you know, the victim is part of that drama triangle. And that's what that is. So we want to affirm positive thoughts into our affirmations, and declaring being a procrastinator that would be counterproductive. Does that make sense? Derek, let me know if you're still watching. What kind of procrastination do you experience? Oh, you know what? Let me pull something up. And by the way, I'm still waiting on my guest to come back in. But we're going to hold it down until she comes. Let's see. Okay, does this sound familiar? I would love for you all to type what sounds familiar to you with the procrastination. Is it the perfectionism? You want everything to be perfect and you line up all the the lines, you dot the I's, you cross the T's, but it's just not perfect. So because it's not perfect, you just say, I'll wait. Or this sounds familiar for me. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And I'll say I'll do it later on a Sunday. And before I know it, it's Thursday afternoon. Hey, Laquita. She says, I'm listening and lurking while I watch. Otherwise, I'll be procrastinating on this work. Laquita, let me know. Are you coming on today? I want to know if you're going to be on your show today because I definitely want to tune in. I'm working from home today, so I have time. Let me know. All right. Or the fear of the unknown. That sounds very familiar. So when I do not know what's going on or what to expect, it's the fear of the unknown. So I just stop. I just don't do anything at all. And before I know it, it's next month. Blind guy. Laquita, you said I'm just I'll do it. Oh, yeah, I'll just do it later person. Doing now what I was supposed to do on Monday. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds all too familiar. Yeah, I get it. Okay, what about this? The lack of motivation. That sounds very familiar as well. And we already said the fear of the oh, well, let's see. Someone just dropped in. Hey, LaDana.
Hi. Let's see if that is working. Is that
Hey,
better?
we'll find
Is
out.
this connection better? Hi.
So you all, we have a co-host as well. Oh, Laquita is on live every Wednesday, Thursday, and dang, I missed it at 11:15. You procrastinated and missed Laquita for the win. You know what? The show's over. We can end on her note. That was dope. I like that. She's so quick. So everyone, this is my beautiful guest and our co-host. This is LaDana Manhertz-Smith, and I'll let you describe what kind of coach you are, and we'll get right into it. Can you hear me, look, LaDana?
Yes, so I want to apologize in advance if this connection isn't working very well. We'll do our best. Let me know if you are hearing me well.
Yes, you all, if you can hear LaDana, type a 1 in the comment section. But I can hear you very well, so we can get
Awesome.
started. Oh, Laquita
Awesome.
said, this was so cute. She said, hand me the co-host so she can focus. That's so cute.
Go on and take him.
Now, Laquita, there's a package deal now. She has twins, just
It is a
FYI.
package.
Up, there goes her connection. So we may just have to reschedule. I think that would be the best thing to do. So while never mind, there she goes again.
Technology, technology, technology. Oh my
N-
goodness. I feel like
No
I gotta
worries.
drop my dimes in like 5 minutes before it decides it doesn't want me around
I
anymore.
know, right? Okay, well, we're going to get right into it. And if you all want to meet LaDana, please go back a couple of weeks and you'll see LaDana when she came on the first time. But LaDana is going to describe, she is a procrastinator guru. meaning she will drop the gems. So we're going to discuss 6 types of procrastinators and how to overcome it. So let's get right into it. Overdoing. What does that I can tell you how I've experienced it, but I know you can peel that layer back of the onion. And there goes her internet again. So we're going to reschedule this, but you all just look at that overdoing and think about what that kind of procrastination looks and means to you. But in the meantime, we're going to reschedule this and thank you all for being so patient. And we're going to come back with our 6 types of procrastination and how to overcome it. You all have a, oh, there's somebody else. I know, Laquita. She said, oh no. And you're right, the internet plays too much, way too much. But we won't, the internet is procrastinating. It's the internet is procrastinating on what it needs to do. That's why it's not at its fullest potential. And that's the lesson learned today. You all, I will get back on my social media and I will let you know when we have rescheduled this. Oh, here she is
The
again.
internet play too much. I agree.
It does. I said that the internet is procrastinating, and that's why it's not at its fullest potential. Okay, overdoing.
Okay, so
I know.
okay, so when we look at persons who overdo, the primary issue that they're facing is not being able to set proper boundaries. That's really what happens. And so, what they're ending up doing is agreeing to more things than they can handle. Um, and that's just another way for them to hide behind their fear, to use this as a matter of overcoming their fear by feeling and filling up their calendar with as much as they possibly can. So, the number one thing for someone who overdoes things, right? Fills up that calendar, agrees to everything, is to first take a step back and really do some introspection to figure out what are my priorities. There's a method that I love to use, and it's super helpful if you're extremely rigid with it. Right now, the guy who created it, he's slipping my mind. So if you do find him, um, just credit. I'm not saying this is my own tool. This is not my tool. I'm just forgetting the name of the person who created the tool right now. But you want to really create your life in this way where you look at what is important and urgent, what is
Hmm.
important but not urgent,
But I have a
right?
question. When you said about holding
Go
boundaries,
ahead.
is that within ourselves or is that holding boundaries with other people with
It's
accepting? What does that
both.
mean?
It's both.
Really?
So it's boundaries with ourselves and it's boundaries with others. And the way I like to separate it, thanks for clarifying that before I even step into a strategy for asking that clarifying question.
Right.
There's this quote that says, boundaries aren't walls, they just show people where the door is. And the
Ooh.
same works for you as it does for others. So, creating boundaries is really this communication method to say, this is how to enter and exit the space of my life.
I love it.
hmm hmm We
Game
get very
changer.
scared. Yeah, we get scared when we hear the word boundaries because you know what normally happens? We normally set a boundary after we've become frustrated, right? After we've exhausted everything, then we're like, you know what? I'm not doing anything for anybody anymore. I'm saying no to everything in the world. I'm not agreeing to nothing.
That's
However, if we had,
extreme.
right? Which is what usually happens. We get so frustrated that we shut everything down. And that creates a whole new stress because realistically, you're probably not going to be able to follow through on that. Whereas if we started with the boundary, we started with the limit, we started with what's acceptable or unacceptable, and that comes back to awareness. And when I say awareness, what can I realistically do? What can I realistically deliver on? What can I do in my time that is really true?
Right.
So, what do I mean by that? We have 24 hours. Everyone has 24 hours. We all get 24 hours to do different things. However, each of our 24 hours is going to be allotted differently. And we have to be realistic about what can be done in those 24 hours. I'll give an example. Yesterday, I filled out my planner sheet,
Right.
loaded with things along the left side here, right? All of these things to be done. Realistically, in an 8 hour day, you're probably only going to get through three or four things.
Right.
So what I have to start my day with knowing is what are my priorities? What are the top things I have to accomplish today? I must, by the end of the day, to say I have created and lived the day I desired. I have to decide what are those priorities. And then I have to set boundaries around that. And what are my boundaries? Boundaries around myself, boundaries around my time, boundaries around my energy. Primary things around my time and around my energy, which means that I have to know if I'm going to create a 16-week curriculum, that's probably going to take me 3-4 hours, let's say. I
Right.
cannot take on another 4 hour project in this workday. However, what the overdoer does is take on those two projects because then it feels busy, but you're not actually accomplishing anything. And what the overdoer needs to do is step back and go, what's really the priority? It's getting the curriculum done. So I need to create my day around getting the curriculum done. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yes, I never thought about it like that. This is why I love having you on. Oh, wow. I just want to peel back some more layers, but oh, I'm respecting your time. We're going to go to number 2, okay?
Yeah. No,
Oh,
before we go on, I
yes,
really want to work on the second part of that boundary setting. Because what we often do
absolutely.
when we set that boundary is we don't communicate that boundary. How can you say that? Because prior to this
You said
starting,
we do not
yeah,
communicate?
we don't communicate the boundary in advance. So I'm going to give the example of us. Prior to this session starting, I communicated the boundary on time to say, this is the time available. This is what I have coming up next. So we can both go into this with an agreement that you're aware of what I can offer and we've agreed to what I can offer. We're not going to get frustrated if it has to end early, if I have to wrap up early, because we've already communicated what we need to each other.
We did. And you're right. It was a mutual exchange. It was an understanding, and we both were very clear. You were clear about setting your
Mhm.
boundaries, and I was clear of respecting your boundaries. So now I have to do that to myself, have that same conversation with myself.
You have that same conversation with yourself, which is what I have to do. And I did that with myself yesterday. And I said, today I will finish one task before starting another. I had to give myself that boundary. So, regardless of whatever is on your plan for today, your boundary is to finish one thing before you move on to the next thing. And
But
that was a me conversation, a me boundary.
yeah, see, I see that shiny ball on the wall, and then I'll go to that task. Then I see another shiny
Mhm.
ball on the wall, and then I'm ping ponging, and before I know it, it's 11 o'clock at night, and I may have accomplished maybe 2 tasks on the list.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
frustration and guilt sets in, and it's a
Yep.
toxic loop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you had just taken a step back and said, mm-mm, Ursula, yeah, you see that shiny ball, recognize that shiny ball, but what is the priority right now? And
Mm.
keep coming back to that.
So we have a comment from Laquita. She said, prioritizing this way is so helpful, especially when we clearly commute our boundaries.
Yes.
Absolutely. She gets
Yes,
it.
and that way everyone around you, interestingly enough, we get so worried about communicating boundaries because we feel that's going to make people feel isolated or pushed out or make us feel like we're better than others because we're communicating a boundary. But what
Mhm.
it does is it does exactly that. It creates clarity. And what happens is you then get partners in you completing what you need to do because I've communicated my boundary to you without even realizing it. We now become work. We start working together to make the one thing I need happen because I've communicated it and you've acknowledged and accepted it. So now, without even realizing, you're going to work around me being able to accomplish the same thing.
Wow. Wow. I'm processing this. This is a lot. And now I'm
That's why
thinking,
it's more emotional than time. That's why I'm like, forget you not being able to manage time. The issues are way deeper when it comes to procrastination.
it is that I never knew until I started following you on Instagram. And I'm always triggered when I get you. I'm always triggered reading it because it always something always resonates with me. And just what you're saying now, it's making me think about how I've experienced people pleasing. And there goes her internet. But I've always experienced people pleasing where it would take time for me to, and it would give me anxiety to say no. And then there are boundary violations within myself.
Hmm.
And then I see
Hmm.
how I internalize it. And I was speaking earlier how then you fall into victim mode. And then I become an active member of this drama triangle. And it never stops.
Yeah.
It's
And in all
amazing.
of that, it feels like you're doing something, right? It feels like you're doing something, but really you're just cycling nothing.
Yes, it's a true recycle of garbage.
Yes.
It really is. Oh my God. So someone requested for me to drop your Instagram in the chat, and I'm going to do it right now. And if you can speak
Mhm.
on number 2, LaDana, which is rebelling, and
Oh yeah.
yes.
So rebelling, which some of us will, at some point in time you may find connected to. So when we talk about rebelling, procrastinating out of rebellion, it's in response to, if you've done therapy, there's always this question going back to, let's talk about your childhood and where the foundations of your perception of the world comes from. And this is really where rebelling is placed. It's kind of a
Really?
way that you, yeah, as a child, you were able to fight against the authorities in your life who were the ones deciding your timelines, deciding your priorities. And so some of us procrastinate out of rebellion, basically saying, I will take all the time I need to deliver on this because I now get to choose um, the time I get to do it. And so you'll find that those are who procrastinate. I don't know, think about it, because your parents, your teacher would tell you what the deadline was for an assignment versus you having the free will to do that. What then happens later on in life is you then decide to delay as much as you want to because you now have the ability to do that. The hard thing
Mm.
is, yeah, yeah. So it's really just rebelling against authority figures in your childhood that procrastination becomes your weapon of choice.
So it's projection?
Pardon?
Is it projection?
It's not really projection. rejection, it's really you're just finding it in a way that is not as functional as making more productive choices.
Right.
So because you had to meet deadlines, your autonomy now is found in not meeting anybody's deadline outside of your own. The challenge is you don't actually create a deadline that works. And so you end up not producing anything anyway.
So that sounds like it translates into self-destruction.
Yeah, ultimately,
Wow.
ultimately, which is why for someone rebelling, sorry, go ahead, and then I'll continue.
Oh, my mind is blown. I never thought about it like that. Go ahead, sis. So while we wait for her to come back, Laquita, yes, drama triangles are so exciting. She says, I cannot lie. They are all not, they are not all unproductive, but okay, I get it. And that I shouldn't be revealing in drama, reveling in drama triangles. Ooh, I'm learning about that with one of my shadow work coaches. And I I never realized how much I included myself in drama triangles subconsciously. And I didn't know that procrastination is part of one of many facets of a drama triangle, and that we slip into victim mode.
Hmm.
And when she told me that,
Hmm.
so we had our shadow work. It's a group of lovely ladies. We had it Tuesday night.
Hmm.
When I say it resonated in my soul on how much I played a part in being a victim
Hmm.
that bled into the procrastination. Do you know Wednesday morning I was working from home? I woke up at 6:30. I woke up before the sun came up. I got so much done before 10 o'clock a.m. because it resonated with me. I said, you can't do this. You shouldn't do
No.
this. Just get, and I felt so good. I felt so good on how much I achieved. And I didn't need
Hmm.
an alarm clock. So obviously, subconsciously, it hit my soul. Cause I don't know about you all, who wants to walk around and me, I just answered my own question, walk around wearing their victimhood as a badge of honor.
Hmm.
Moving on. Wow. This is some good stuff. I was interested in this, the catastrophizing procrastinator. Thoughts? Ooh, LaDana, we have a delay. Oh no. It
Exactly.
Can
Yeah.
you repeat that one more
Mm.
time?
Oh no. I know. I'm so sorry. Oh, so I was saying the catastrophizer.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Is it coming through?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. So the catastrophizer thrives in chaos. And I think this can go back to some of the drama circles, the drama triangles you were talking about too, probably is connected here as well. The catastrophizer thrives in chaos. And why they thrive in chaos is because it literally
Oh my God. I need to
and
hear.
also gives them the ability to complain about everything to do.
Can you say the first part again
The first part,
of the
it's not coming through. Oh
catastrophizer?
my gosh. Oh my goodness, what's happening? Why
I
is
can
it
hear you.
doing this?
I can hear you now. I know. We'll get
Okay.
through it.
I
Yes.
know. I know. Can you guys
Yes.
hear me now? Is it better now? Okay. All right. So let's see if we can make it through. Okay. So when we think
Mm. Yeah, I need to hear what this catastrophizing means. Oh, Laquita, if you're still on, does the catastrophizing, does that resonate with you? Because I know it does with me. From what I heard, the last part of it, I'm thinking she's going to say how we can, it gives us something to, there she goes, to complain about, which I'm thinking goes back into victimhood again of that drama triangle.
Yes, yes, you got it, girl. Am I back?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay. So, as I was saying, yes, I'm agreeing with what you were pointing out before. So, catastrophizing comes from that thinking trap that some of us fall into, where something goes wrong and all we can think about is the worst case scenario possible. And it keeps us trapped in that mode. And then we apply the same thing to procrastination, right? The same kind of concept where we then become a victim of our own delay. And we use that to maintain the delay in busy work by creating chaos around us. Does that make sense?
Yes, the victim of delay. I'm writing that down. Oh, I'm so triggered right now. What is that saying? Analysis paralysis?
Yes, the overthinking, the analysis paralysis. So we're not making decisions, but we're also functioning from this place where we don't see a way out of where we are. And so, because we don't see a way out, what we just keep doing is tying everything up into this web. So, every single aspect of our lives become caught up into all the things we're not actually doing, we're not actually achieving, and that then adds its own stress.
LaDana, stay out my business. Well, that resonates with me. That right there. Yes. And I can feel a downward spiral. And then again,
Hmm.
I just lay down and I lay in it. And now that I think about it, I'm probably disassociating because then I want to take a nap and I'm
Hmm.
just uh, disgusted. So I say, oh,
Hmm.
sleep it off
And
and
then you
wake
use
up.
that to justify why you're doing that, right? Then you use
Yes.
all of those down feelings to justify why you can't get anything done.
Mm. So does that segue into number 4? The worrying?
Hmm. The warrior. Hmm. The warrior is like the master at recycling, because the warrior, right, then allows their all their decisions to be made through fear. Despite everything when it comes to procrastination being
Right.
fed through fear, the warrior thrives on it. And what happens is they continue to build scaffolds of worries on top of other worries, which
Mm.
again make it feel like you're doing something, right? Because if you're sitting here and you're worrying about the thing, which then you think that you're creating a solution by worrying about the next part of the thing, what you've done is spend the whole day worrying. The thing still isn't done, and now you have 12 more things on top of the same thing that you're now stressed over. And so, because you're so worried now about 12 things, whereas you only had one thing, now you're paralyzed in fear about moving forward on anything.
So help me out. What's the difference between that and a catastrophizer? They sound similar to
The
me.
catastrophe. Okay, so the catastrophizer, right? The catastrophizer comes through the way they think about the world. So the way the catastrophizer thinks about the world is purely through crisis. Everything is a crisis. Every
Oh
single
wow.
thing is at the height of problematic. So what
Right.
happens is you then create problems for yourself because you're approaching every single thing in your life as a crisis. The
Mhm.
warrior, however, is not necessarily looking at it as a crisis. What they're doing is focusing on all the tiny aspects and worrying about all these extra pieces versus taking action. So the catastrophizer creates a crisis. The warrior gets stuck in create in reviewing all the ways, all the things to do with the job. So it's the catastrophizer is in the way that you're thinking, the way you look at the world as a crisis. You're in a crisis mode consistently. Just because you're worried doesn't mean you're thinking about the world in crisis. Does that make sense?
Now it does. Wow. If this resonates with anyone, please drop some light bulb emojis if it sounds or feels familiar. Blind
Yeah.
guy, his wife, and their life said, I'm not co signing any more of these 6 steps because my deep understanding is incriminating. She's such a wordsmith. She said, I may or may not be a victim of my own delay, not confirming nor denying. Oh, I love it.
And interestingly, oh my goodness, she's nailing it. You got it. And interestingly, the solution for the warrior versus the catastrophizer is different because of the way they're looking at the world. So when it comes to the catastrophizer, the best solution for them is to actually just start. Because what the catastrophizer does is blow up everything so much that it feels overwhelming and they end up
Mm,
having to do it last minute, right? Last minute or
mm,
cop out. Then they're stressed and they're burnt out. For the catastrophizer, it's beyond looking at, what are the actual real things to deal with here, bringing you back to that mindfulness in this present moment. What is the problem? Not in 10 years, not tomorrow. In this present moment, what can I do? And to just do that one thing, that one tiny step to get started, to help that person begin to realize maybe it's not as big as I'm making it out to be. The warrior,
mm.
however, needs to take that introspection to identify what is real and what is not real.
That makes sense. Yes. So can we double back a little?
Sure,
So what is
sure.
something that the procrastinator can do to overcome?
So the first thing they need to do is to acknowledge that this is their line of defense. First step. This is I am choosing to do this because I have the autonomy to do this, and then accept responsibility for their next step. Unfortunately, it's actually doing the thing they want to do, be responsible for their choice.
I
That's why
love
they're
that.
choosing to rebel. So it's actually doing the thing they want to do. They want to be responsible for their own choice. They're just not making the productive choice. So it's a matter of owning that this is the choice I'm making and I can make a more productive one.
Genius. Yeah, I love that. That makes sense.
Hmm.
You're not making the correct choice. So
Right.
you're going to
You're not
stay in the
making a productive
procrastination
one.
loop. So what about the
Right.
overdoer? Oh, we said that. Boundaries. Boundaries.
Pardon?
I was asking what about the overdoer, but you already answered it. You said to set the boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, so they
Oh,
need to start saying yes with intention. So say yes intentionally, right?
mhm.
Intentionally say yes to something. A one way I like to tell people, one thing that I found to be helpful in overcoming that is when I'm asked to do something, my response is, let me look into it, because that gives me time to actually go and decide, do I have the capacity to fulfill this? So it's not a
Right.
yes, it's not a no. It's setting up again that boundary between us to say, this is what I need to answer this for you. I need to look
Mm,
into it. And then I will answer it for you. And that way I can intentionally say yes, or I can look at whether it's not possible, and then say no. Another method that some people use, which I love, is, but it doesn't always work. Some situations are faster than others. Is four reasons why you have to say no, or four reasons why you must say yes. And if you can't come up with four reasons, then you give the opposite answer, right? Like really quickly. Four reasons that you have to say yes, or four reasons why you have to say no, which you can use. So those are some quick methods that you can use, because if it was like, hey, can we go for a coffee later? And, automatically you might want to say yes, you might want to say no. You can quickly go,
Mhm.
okay, four reasons why I can say yes to this. I can say yes is because I have the time. I'd love to spend time with this person. Sure, I enjoy, this beverage, and why not? Or four reasons I have to say no, kid, or I'm just really exhausted, or I have a better time next week. Now it's more comfortable for you to say no versus, right. You
Right.
can you can confidently say, I'm not able to today. Maybe we can make a plan for next week.
Hmm. That's a great segue into our fifth procrastinator, the dreaming.
Yes. The
Ah,
dreamer. So here's the thing with dreamers, and it goes right back to that shiny ball that you talk about, living more inside their head than in real life. That's the best way to say it. Always have an idea, but no actual action on that idea.
you literally ethered me right now. That just took me out. Well, I'm really trying my best to stay present. You took me
Yeah. And the dreamer
Oh,
struggles with the same thing as the overdoer. It feels like you're getting a lot done because you're having all these ideas. Like it feels great. All these things are coming to you. But in reality, if we were to pull up the pages, you got nothing.
all I have are a bunch of to-do lists with nothing
A
crossed
bunch of to
out.
do lists with nothing crossed out. Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna share something with you. So I was cleaning out a bag a couple months ago. When I'm at work, I have the best decision ideas. And I said, oh, I'm gonna be proactive. Have this little book I keep in my coat. I'm gonna write
Hmm.
it down. And I spend most of my day just writing down, writing down. I said, okay, when I get home, you get it, right? I go home and I look at the list and I'm just like that. And then the next day I start over and I do the same thing. And so
Yes.
I realized that I was putting everything in this bag and I'm going to work. So now I said, let me clean out the bag. And when I saw the amount of to do lists, I was disgusted because I said, well,
Yeah.
I didn't get that done. I could cross that off the list. I didn't do it. I didn't get that done. I didn't.
Hmm. And then how do you feel at the end of it? Now you're stressed,
Disgusted. Yeah, stressed,
disgusted.
disgusted, guilty,
Yeah.
shameful. Like, why did
Hmm.
you do that? And then I would turn into victim mode. Well, I worked
Hmm.
hard this whole day. It was a long 8
Yeah.
hours, and I start
Yeah.
making excuses, and then again, I am in the drama triangle.
Yep. Yep.
Damn.
Hmm. Yeah. When it
Woo!
comes to the dreamers, dreamers just have to accept that a dream is just that. It's just a dream. And the only way to make it real is to actually sit down and create real strategic steps to make it happen, or accept it as just a dream. The dreamer just has to do. There's no dream without action.
So does that goes back to number 1 or when you pulled up your list about which task on this list takes paramount and the others
That's
can
right.
be supporting cast, but this will be the star of the day?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will, the majority of the primary challenge or way to overcome will always come back to the awareness of what's happening and going back to what is the priority. What is the priority here?
My life coach, she told me when I first started my sessions with her that, Ursula, you're so encouraged and you get so happy about making this list, but you are celebrating your action, but or you're celebrating the effort, but there's no action. And that I was
Hmm.
getting them mixed up. And because I'm celebrating, oh, my to-do list, I'm productive at work thinking about the to-do list, but in reality, there was no action.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Laquita said, Lord, just crushing she said you were crushing her dreams. And I had a dream that one day little old me could take on every task. I know
You
Laquita,
know
she's a
what?
dream killer.
You know what? You know what? It is a good one to have, and you can take on every task. You just have to own what all those tasks are going to require of you. And you just have to accept that it may take you 50 years and you're going to do step by step. But if you're just out here dreaming, girl, you ain't taking on nothing. I
Looks
love
like
you.
you
I say it with love.
in reality, that was another ether. Look as she cradles her baby in love. Oh my God. Okay, I can go into so much more, but I definitely want to continue to respect the boundaries of your time. So I want to go to the last topic, perfectionism.
Yes. And you know what? A lot of procrastinators will probably resonate with this category. And that's because it's been so easy to lie to themselves. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm
Another ether.
sorry. I'm sorry. You have been lying to yourself that you just want things to be so perfect and high quality and so well done. It's just been an excuse that you have allowed yourself to believe over the years because you were just more afraid of what would happen if you failed or succeeded in this task. Now, a lot of people don't realize that many of us struggle with a fear of success as much as we worry we have that fear of failure. Because with a fear of success comes expectations, it comes more responsibilities. You create standards and benchmarks that other people may or yourself may begin to expect from you. And that's as crippling as worrying about whether you will not succeed and the shame and
Mm.
guilt and fear that comes with failing as well. And so, what the perfectionist does is hide behind both of them.
Wow. That's something else. I never knew that part about the fear of success. But what just stood out to me is when Dana said that when you do have success, that you are held to a standard and the expectation that, well, there you go. I'm a perfectionist, excuse me, I've experienced perfectionism with my procrastination. I didn't think about it like that. Woo. And Laquita said, LaDana, come on with the real. I accept it in life and have a long life plan. Ain't no other way, I guess. There we go. Can you hear me, LaDana? So there's a delay on her end. Well, I know one thing, the internet is definitely not procrastinating with its bandwidth today. It was on it. So we're at the end of our, if she comes back, it's fine. But if not, we'll wrap this up. And, you all, listening, if you want to hear more, slide up in LaDana's DMs on her Instagram. And this is her website. I posted her Instagram, but I want you to slide up in her DMs to see, maybe she'll come back and we can get into it again. You know, I hope your DMs are overloaded. I just told everybody to slide up in your DMs.
Come on in. Come on in. I love talking in my DMs.
Yeah, you are so amazing. It's
Thank
something
you.
else. So we have uh, 10 minutes
Yes.
exactly. Is there anything you'd like to wrap up or want to add on? Because I know you do.
No, I just want to encourage everyone. You may identify, just to circle back for the perfectionist, the primary thing to overcome for the perfectionist is to recognize that nothing will be perfect and everything is an opportunity to learn. Everything is an opportunity to grow. So rather than being stuck behind, will this work, will this not work, be focused on what can I learn about myself? What can I learn about this process versus what the outcome is. Be more engaged with the experience than the outcome because 80% done is still better than 0% done at the end of the day.
So that I get it now. That goes back to the mindfulness.
hmm
Ah.
hmm It's accepting without judgment where I'm at and then making a choice as to how I want to go forward.
And
Mhm.
I've learned that not doing anything is also being a choice.
Yes, it is. Every single thing we do is a choice.
Mm.
Procrastination is a choice. We choose that step and we can choose to be productive. And the reality is, and I want to encourage everyone, everybody procrastinates at some point in their lives, okay? We all do it, so don't feel that there's anything wrong with you because you're struggling with it. The challenge is, and the challenge is whether procrastination is becoming that default choice. That's the habit and pattern that we want to break. When it becomes the default choice, when your brain becomes so accustomed to delaying that you don't even notice that that's how you're approaching anymore. So I just want to invite you to become aware of that choice that you're making so that you can make a different one. And
Mm.
awareness is progress. So even if you don't make a better choice, just being aware of the fact that you're making this choice is more than you probably could have would have ever accomplished and will impact your ability to go forward in monumental ways. The majority of the things that we do in life, our habits and our patterns and our choices and our steps, a lot of them we're not aware that we're choosing them. The minute you become aware that you're choosing it, you take back control. And no longer are you making decisions out of fear. Sorry, no longer are you allowing fear to make decisions for you, but you can now acknowledge your fear and make a decision that meets your actual needs and help you to meet your goals.
Is it fair to say that being aware, you can't stay in that too long?
To stay in awareness,
Yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, so being aware, okay, uh that's significant. But again, will that continue a loop of, okay, well, I'm aware, but you're still not, that's the effort, but not the action.
right. And that's where it comes back to taking those consistent steps, that small action. So be aware and take a small step. All of these, what you'll notice again in each of these types that we looked at today is that every one of them have to do something to overcome. There's always a do. When it comes to procrastination, the way to counteract it is to take action. Like you
Mm.
have to take action, no matter how small that action is. Now, what we want to do, I want to go back to how you said you got up early between 6 and 10 and got so much accomplished.
Uh-huh.
Because procrastination, what we're trying to avoid are those negative feelings, those unpleasant emotions that come with it. A way to overcome that are to set our goals so small that we consistently feed ourselves with dopamine. That's the feel good, that's the neurochemical that made you keep doing more. So every time, when you do that tick on your to-do list, you actually get a shot of dopamine, which makes you more motivated to do something else. It's the feel good neurochemical, the feel
Does.
good hormone. And so when you set those small, achievable goals, what happens is you're more motivated to achieve it. So rather than these big, monstrous things to do, break them down as small as possible. Like when I'm working with clients, I started awareness because many of us aren't aware of what we're doing. Then when we become aware, I break that step down even further. What is the first, tiniest next step you need to do in order to move forward? And it may be, I just need to open my laptop, not do
Mm,
anything yet. The next smallest
mm.
thing I probably can do is I was working with a client who wanted to put fitness into her day. And her tiny step in the morning was to leave her fitness clothes on the top of the toilet in her bathroom the night before. Because what would happen is when she goes in the morning to brush her teeth and get ready, the step between actually making the choice to work out and working out is so short now because her workout clothes is right there.
Wow.
So try and make that a handy way that I worked with Bratzo Probrick in his coaching program. And one of the tips he gives is the 20-second choice. When you're building that habit, give yourself less than 20 seconds to be able to make the choice that you need. So if it's working out, if it's getting the job, make it less than 20 seconds to be able to do the next step that you need to do. And if you need to remove a habit from your life, give yourself more than 20 seconds to get to that. So if I want to stop eating chips, take the chips and put it in the back of the pantry or in the garage so that I literally have to leave from my living room, walk to the garage to get the chips. In that entire process, you're giving yourself multiple opportunities to make a different decision versus the chips is just in the cupboard nearby. The same thing with procrastination. Make it easy to get to the next thing that you want to do. And I know we're
Wow.
we're almost there, but I want to share something that another coach that I follow who does work on procrastination, Elevate Coaching, and I was watching a live she did the other day, and I just loved what she said. Make your mind a healthy place to live.
Oh,
I
that
know,
is
I know. That held me.
woo.
Make your mind a healthy place to live because if you think about it, all of our actions, our behaviors, our emotions, our choices are coming out of that space. And so if it's unhealthy to be there, we're going to keep making unhealthy choices. If we take the time to create a healthy environment in our mind, it becomes easier to make healthy choices.
Wow. My notes are I'm just taking it. I love that. Make your mind a healthy place to live
I love
because
how
it's
the
with
internet stabilized at the end.
right, exactly. I'm gonna end. We have 1 minute and 15 seconds. I will let Laquita have the last word. This was cool. She said, can she start with that default part first next time? I was attributing more than I deserve, but I feel lighter going into the
Oh,
weekend now. See?
that is beautiful. Thank you. I am so glad to hear that. Yes.
Yeah.
Let us step out of that default network and let's start making some intentional choices.
And so with that statement, she was intentional about it. And it goes back to what you said about making her mind is healthier right now. It's
Yeah,
lighter.
yeah, yeah. It's where you actually want to go now. So when you do come upon something that's creating those emotions, you feel confident to explore them because you've done the work to create a healthy environment to work through.
Amazing. You never disappoint. LaDana, we have literally 15 seconds. We are going to finish this live right now. You know I'm going to slide up in those DMs again.
Come on in the DMs. Come on.
Thank you so much. Oh,
You're
you're
welcome.
wonderful. You know I'm going to ask you again, but
Anytime.
awesome. You have a beautiful weekend, and thank you so much for taking time out for us and getting our procrastination together.
It is my jam. So go on and get the job done, everyone.
Yes. Have a good weekend. Oh, and LaDana,
Yes.
you still are a Black girl that has her shift together.
Preach that thing.
Good night.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black